Good morning, everybody. Can you guys hear me fine? Type 1 if the audio is good. Type 2 if there's something wrong with my audio. Perfect. All right, so for today, there's really not much that I'm looking too forward to. I mean, there's really nothing to do for me personally as of right now because we just don't have any valid SMTs in my eyes. Right, previous day high has been taken, and if you zoom in, you just see that previous day high has been taken, so we're not bearish in that sense. We do have a bearish SMT between Friday and Monday. However, that was the one that I didn't really trust because our higher time frame narrative doesn't seem to want to continue lower. So as of right now, I would be bullish. And, I guess the only way I can really enter into the market today is if I had a intraday SMT, and that's the only way I can really get in. So I'll be on the lookout for that, but as of right now, nothing looks super interesting to me. We do have a previous week high SMT as of right now, so I'll just see if this gets confirmed. If it does, I'll look for bearishness, but if not, then I think that we're just going to continue rallying higher, to be honest. I do see a lot of nice liquidity on the lows here, so we'll see how price plays out. Yeah, we'll definitely see how this plays out. But I am definitely aware we have a previous month high SMT as of right now. We also have a previous week high SMT, so we could potentially be looking for lower prices. But once again, I just need to see how we're reacting intraday. I like how we've engineered liquidity on the lows here, so that looks pretty good to me. Other than that, that's really what I'm looking for. And then on an intraday basis, we have this London high SMT as of right now. So I'll just mark that out for you guys, which could potentially frame some bearishness for us. And with all these stacked confluences, I would not be against looking for a short today. We are 10 minutes away from volatility injection, so I think the smartest move as of right now is to just kind of wait for volatility injection and see how price wants to play. Because in my opinion, this price action isn't exactly the cleanest, other than having, this drawn liquidity down here, which looks really nice. These lows right here. And then we're getting an SMT on the highs. If we can confirm that on the lower time frame, then I'll look for a sell. So I want to see what 930 has to offer here, and then I'll look for a trade. And one thing that I want you guys to note down, if you haven't realized this already, then I would say something you should note down is that volatility injections should not cause FOMO. And let me explain why. The reason it shouldn't cause FOMO is because volatility injections are what sets up a high probability setup. The volatility injection itself is not the high probability setup. So you guys have to understand that. And once you understand that, you won't just FOMO into some sort of volatility injection, right? Unless you have your model formed before the volatility injection, then go for it. But if it's, during or really close to the volatility injection, I would suggest just understanding that your volatile injection is what's going to set up your high probability setup, right? And if you missed a move, you missed a move. It's whatever. You'll always have another opportunity. SMT at London lows, what would invalidate this? Is there SMT at London lows? I don't see SMT at London lows. There's no SMT at London lows in my opinion. How many points does NASDAQ have to move to get up here? 65 points. Okay. It's not terrible. See how this forms. But yeah, as of right now, I would say I'm more interested in shorts than long specifically for today. And the reason is just because of all these SMTs on the highs. We have SMT with previous month high, we have SMT with previous week high, we have SMT with previous session high as of right now. Got 7 minutes until volatility injection. Previous week high SMT. Yeah. It's this one right here. All right, so YM is currently trading above NQ and ES is failing to trade above. Let's take a look at DXY, what it wants to do. If it's going to continue bearish here, which looks like it's possible, then we would look for continued bullishness in index futures. Let's see if we have SMT. We do have with previous day high, so that could present bearish as well. So we'll see how it develops at 9:30. How do you link your timeframes and scrolling zooming? So it's these 4 settings right here. I just enable all 4 of these. I don't know if I did it wrong, but this is what I do, and I've always done it this way, and I just scroll together. So you got your volatility injection in 4 minutes here. Just be patient here and let it play out. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. You can ask anything if you want. I finally developed a personal model. I've got a if then for every scenario. Market should. Yes, 100%. It's great. Sounds really good. If and then logic is the way. Because then you're just purely trusting the probabilities, right? And it's consistent. There's any SMT you're paying attention to right now? Yeah, so the SMTs I'm paying attention to right now is previous month high, previous week high, and previous session high. So those are the 3 I'm paying attention to right now. Right? Any indicators mark time levels previous? Yeah, I just manually do it. You can it's honestly pretty simple. If you want to do previous session high low, just go to your 6-hour chart. Just mark your previous 6-hour candle high and low for previous session. If you want to mark your previous day high and low, and then it's just your daily chart, and you mark your previous day high, previous day low of that candle, week, month, whatever candle you want to mark. You just do that. It's pretty simple. I really like the look of this liquidity down here, so I would not be against looking for an idea to draw down into these lows right here. They're just too clean in my opinion. And that would be this low here. That would be these lows over here. Honestly, you could even use this low right here. So we'll see if we get any bear structure starting to head for that, and then feel free to take a stab at that. Equity's open in 40 seconds here, so just be a little, little patient. Yeah, I'm bearish as of right now, Mario, because of all the SMTs on the highs. So if those SMTs on the highs get invalidated, then I'll look for bullish price action. But until then, I'm probably gonna be bearish for a little bit here. Especially it's because it's still early in the week. So here's your equities open. Yeah, sessions are 6-hour candles. Yep. I'm pretty sure. Actually, let me just make sure for you real quick. Should be. Yeah, they are your 6-hour candles. So if you want to pay attention, there's probably another, SMT forming right now. Sorry. Yeah, the 90-minute. Let me see if there is. I see there's like a little SMT right here, so potentially look for that. Never mind. I don't see any SMT. If you want, let me think here. I think this looks like a very good like macro idea. If you wanted to put your stop loss at previous week high, that would be pretty solid. Yeah. So feel free to take a stab at a short. I'm gonna take a short here, and first TP is gonna be these lows over here, and then I'm gonna put my stop loss at previous week high for now, and then see how this develops. You demonstrate PD array invalidation in a lower time frame. I believe these are key things to understand. Yeah, so invalidation, honestly, for me, whenever I look for a key level, I just look whether there's SMT within it or not. Is that a very big stop? Well, this is a macro idea, right? Like we're using previous week high, we're technically trading a 4-hour idea. So you can refine your stop loss if you want, but for my model specifically, I'm going to be using the, macro stop loss because that's where my model tells me to put it. Yeah. What PD rates do I usually look for? I look for a lot. I mean, it depends what I'm using it for. As like usually key levels that I'm looking for, I use like order blocks, rejection blocks, and fair value gaps mainly. But then whenever I do trade management, I'm looking at pretty much everything. So I'll look at order blocks, rejection blocks, propulsion blocks, breaker blocks, liquidity voids, volume balances, all that stuff. How do I set break even? I wait until first TPs hit and then I just move to break even. I also use my discretion based on order flow if it's appropriate to move to break even or not. But usually when TP1 is hit for me, it's usually a good time to just move to break even, not get greedy because I've already taken a partial, right? On what time frames? I usually like to look for, it really depends where my model's stemming. So it's like if I get a 15-minute SMT like I am right now, like London high SMT, then I'll look for a 4-hour PD array, for example. So it depends what my lower time frame structure is telling me, and then I'll see if there's something valid to key it off of, right? And so that's why I like to do my top-down analysis every morning, and at the start of every week, I do more of a macro scale of analysis, and then on a daily basis, I look at a more short term, and so I'll be aware of what are the key areas that I'm paying attention to, and see what kind of reaction we get from them. And I think a big misconception is a lot of new traders, they ask other traders like, how do you know it's a key level? Well, the thing is, you don't know it's a key level until price is there. and it's, you know, doing something there. And once it is, then you know to pay closer attention. So at first, it would be technically quote unquote key level, but it's not actually important until the lower time frame is doing something with it, you know? So you could mark out every fair value gap, for example, on your higher time frame and just wait until lower time frame trades into it and see what's happening there, right? For example, and using confluence of many different things of order flow, right? It's market structure, using order flow, and you're also using liquidity, right? And then using all three of those things to build a narrative on the higher time frame. And then on the lower time frame, it would be much easier for you to frame an idea. Can you explain drawn liquidity? Drawn liquidity is quite literally just where you think the market's going to. Like where the market is going to, that's drawn liquidity. If we invert this recent 15-minute fair value, can this be considered high probability PD array created by SMT? Yeah, I would say so. Or even that order block up here, right? Order block or this rejection block that just got created, I'd be starting to look at this as a new dealing range because we have SMT. And so SMT is going to be the start of your dealing ranges. And so if you look at the PD array matrix presented by ICT, he talks about how a high and a low is the first quote unquote PD array that forms within the PD array matrix of the defining range or dealing range. And so if you look at that, what does that mean? And in my opinion, that just means SMT. So SMT starts off your dealing range, creating that external high, external low, right? And once that occurs, you're looking for these PD arrays to start forming. So rejection block, order block, fair value gap, breaker block, all that good stuff. Once again, it all comes down to narrative, and that's why ICT is so powerful. It gives us the ability to, you know, critically think about the market and build a narrative around it with the tools he's given us. And I think that is also why it's so difficult to use ICT, is because you have to learn how to build a narrative, right? And a lot of people struggle with that. And a lot of the times when someone is profitable with ICT, a lot of people ask, oh, how did you know this level was going to be respected? Well, the thing is, like, I didn't know it was going to be respected until it started giving me confirmations on the lower time frame within that level, right? Because the higher time frame, all I had was narrative and context, but I needed confirmation first before actually using it. So it's not necessarily picking and choosing exactly which one to use. It's more so being aware of what could happen, the different, you know, stories that can play out in price, and then playing off of that on the lower time frame. So that's how I would break it down. There's no like one PD array fits all. In my opinion, it's all of the PD arrays should be used to build a narrative. I kind of just started rambling though. That was completely unrelated from your question. I just realized. But yeah, if you invert this fair value gap, I think it would look pretty good because we have SMT, right? This previous day low is gonna be my TP2 if it does make it there. But I'll annotate that if TP1 gets hit. If not, then you know stop loss still stays the same, target still stays the same. Do you guys want me to put my position tool on? Does that help you guys visualize? Where am I from? I'm from Toronto. I do want to move out of here soon though. Okay, I'll put on the position tool. This is my TP1, and then I'm gonna be aiming for lower prices ultimately if it continues to plummet. But for now, I just focus on TP1. Why move? Just the taxes here are crazy. How to read a shift instructor? I usually just look for a previous swing point within an inefficiency, and then SMT that that inverts that inefficiency, and that's a true market trigger shift to me. Obviously, as always, you need context of your higher time frame, which is the key. I don't know where I want to move. I'll be honest. I need to explore more, to be honest. I think Singapore seems pretty sick. I wanted to try Dubai, but I think everyone in Dubai is too wealthy. um, yeah, I don't know. I need to explore more, to be honest. There's a few places I was looking at, like Portland, Oregon, or I wanted to go to Vancouver, but the tax there is all worse than Toronto. So um, I was also thinking Seattle, but I heard that it's very gloomy there, so I don't know if I will. Yeah, Vancouver's 53% tax, which is pretty absurd in my opinion. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, actually in Toronto it's like 40 40%, something like that. But Vancouver's like 53%, which is pretty insane. Why are you bearish? Can you explain? So the reason I'm bearish right now is because we have a previous month high SMT, we have a previous week high SMT, and we have a previous session high SMT. So that's the reason I'm bearish. You'll be depressed in Portland? Damn. Alright, looks like I'm not going. I haven't even been there. I actually need to visit there first to see if I even like it for vacation. I was thinking like Singapore. That it seems pretty sick. I'll have to, visit it as well. I'm sorry, I'm missing so many messages. Singapore is safe, but not much to do on the weekends. I mean, I guess I'll just chill at home and I don't know. There has to be something like just go eat food or something. Surely. Like I feel like no matter where you live though, eventually you're gonna run out of things to do. Phuket. I've seen pictures. Looks very nice. I don't know if I would live there. I need to visit there first. There's so many places I need to visit. Oh my gosh. I live somewhat comfortably in Dubai for around 100K a year. Oh, that's actually a lot lower bar than I thought it would be. Yeah, I'll definitely do some traveling. There's a misconception about Dubai. You can actually get a nice apartment for less than 2,500 a month. Not every. Damn. Okay. I'm down. The only thing is it is pretty far from home because my family's still here, right? Ah, whatever. I'll FaceTime them. No, but on a real, I don't think my girl would be too open to that. I would much rather keep my girlfriend than you know, choose less tax over her. Granted, I have brought up the concern to her, but maybe after she graduates school, then we'll think about it. Like live in the States for a little bit. Yeah, Justin actually is. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't really like pay too much attention to like to like the political side of things. I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand majority of it, so I kind of just you know I like watch the debates and I'm like, yes, yes, good point. And I'm so easily swayed. I'm like, oh, both sides have good points. Prices being a little boring. We have 9 minutes until news, and we'll see what happens. It's like consumer confidence today or something, right? Let me check. Consumer confidence, yeah, that should be decent. Decent, I think. If you go to Taiwan, I'll bring you around. Ooh, I'm down. I think I might be going to Taiwan next May. Yeah, the upcoming May in 2025 with my friend because he lives there. Or he doesn't live there, but his family's there, I think. So I'll see. I'm down though. I do want to travel all of Asia, but I'm just waiting for my girlfriend to finish school. How old am I? I'm 23. I just turned 23. Am I in a position right now? Yeah, that's this tool right here. It looks like a premium and discount tool. I know because my stop loss is so wide. It's a 4-hour stop loss. You can't blame me. But that's why the position looks like a premium and discount. Are you concerned with 1 hour bullish fair value gap below? Not really. It's like I'm already in my position. I've had my model present itself, so I'm gonna just let it play out and not let external factors outside of my model affect how I think inside of this trade, right? Because I have to trust my model at the end of the day. Because if I skew something based on what I think randomly, right, then my model no longer has consistency. I'm from Middle East. Everything is yellow Lambos. Don't look like those you see in Europe. The colors are gone. We don't have colors. Is that a joke? I think it just went over my head. I don't understand. I'm sorry. This has happened before where people tell me jokes and I just don't realize it's a joke. But if it's not a joke, then I still don't get it. I'm sorry. You say what your RR is? So this first TP, the R is like 1.6 R, I think. Yeah, 1.67 R. Second TP is going to be previous day low, which is 2.51. And then I'm probably going to, if price continues to plummet, then I'll target like previous week low or, previous month low would be crazy, but one step at a time. Let's focus on TP1, which is going to be London low. And the reason why I put my TP1 here is because London low is resting right at midnight low. However, there's just some very clean liquidity down here. I'm pretty sure if price does go for London low, it's going to go for these lows. So I'm willing to take that chance. How many units do you usually open? It depends on my risk, right? So how much am I willing to risk based on my stop loss? So I wouldn't say stop loss is too big or too small. It really just depends how much size you're putting on. If your stop loss is wider, then you put less contracts. If your stop loss is tighter, then you put more contracts, right? That's just how it goes. There is never a stop loss too big or too small, in my opinion. It's just whether you're over leveraging or under leveraging. So your video with Casper, did you really have a 80% win rate strategy? Yeah, I would say so. This strategy is very high win rate, but it's there is some subjectivity to it sometimes. And you know, every day I'm refining it to become better. I think I'm setting more so at like 83% right now. And that's like, it depends if you include the human error. Then if you add human error, it's gonna go down even more. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he just put that number there for clickbait. I saw it, I was like, all right then. When using SMT, are you using it on long-term time frame, media? Yeah, I use it on all time frames pretty much. I'm just aware of all the SMTs now. News in 4 minutes, yes sir, or 2 minutes now. Daily 1 hour 5 minute, yeah, you could do that. I usually just look for 2 SMTs on top of each other, so it's like 1 hour to 15-minute SMT or 1 hour to 5 minute SMT. I usually just look for 2 SMTs, and then the higher time frame is usually just a key level I'm looking for. Price really hang around consequent encroachment of opening range gap. I personally don't use opening range gap in my model, so I usually just don't pay attention to it. But if it is, then that's good to know. I think, how did you build the ability to set such wider stop loss and sit through ups and downs? Well, the thing is, when you have proper risk management, you're not afraid to take a loss, right? If I'm sitting here extremely anxious and stuff, that's because I'm over leveraged. Well, I know if I lose this trade, it's whatever, because I'll make it back in the next trade. Make it back in the next trade and more. You know what I mean? So obviously I'm human. I have those tendencies. For me, my biggest weakness is impulsivity and entering a trade prematurely. Like, that's my biggest weakness. And then that turns into tilt, and then that turns into over trading. So I would say that's my biggest weakness. But when it comes down to risk management, it really is just like, you know, if you risk really, really little, it doesn't even matter if you take the L. It's like I'm risking $50 for, like, I'm not risking $50 in this trade, but let's say I'm risking $50 to make $300. Would you complain? I don't think you would complain. Or $50 to make $100. You know, if you lose $50, whatever, you just eat something cheaper for lunch, something cheaper for dinner. You know what I mean? But you know that in the long run, your model is going to pull through for you, right? I don't know if I missed it earlier, but why don't you set your stop loss at London high since I made a time-based SMT? Yeah, you could have, but for my model specifically, the idea I'm trading right now is the previous month high to previous week high SMT. And so I'm just using London high as an extra confirmation that the lower time frame is willing to go lower as of right now. That's your London low right there. So you can take a partial if you want, or if you want, you can just wait for TP1. And so what I'm paying attention to right now is I'm paying attention to ES and I'm paying attention to YM. What are they trying to do right now? And so because London low has been hit already, this is when I wouldn't be afraid to just move stop to break even. So I just protect myself now. If it comes all the way up here, like I'm not interested in this trade idea anyways. Let's see what I believe win rate is not static. Like literally, I have a friend. He had 76% 1 month, huge pay, then the next 45. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely not static because some people will have winning seasons and losing seasons, right? And that's gonna skew your win rate. However, it's just like over a long period of time, you can gather data as like what's your win rate. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my partial here. And the reason I'm taking partial here is because I'm just paying attention to candle bodies. Oh, TP1's smashed anyways. Never mind. I couldn't even move my limit in time. And so now my TP2 would be, you know, previous day low. And once again, it's just trusting your model, right? So far we're up around like 140 points or so, I think. 150 points. Let's pay attention to the 1 hour, see what's happening around this area. But once again, our idea is stemming from previous week high SMT, which is why I'm looking for such extreme lower prices. Otherwise, I'd just be looking for the, you know, London low or previous day low as scalp targets. And that's where I'm gonna protect myself, right? So partial one here, majority of my positions, so let's say 50% of my positions already off at this TP1. I'm moving stops to break even so that even if I get stopped out, I took at least partials, right? And I'm protecting myself. That's where risk management is really important. It's not only about how much you're willing to lose, but it's also how you're protecting your gains, right? Let's see. I don't know if I read this. Oh wait, I did read that. Okay, never mind. I don't know if I missed it earlier, but why don't you set your stop loss London? Oh, I think I read that as well. Yeah, exactly. Money. How long did it take to learn ICT and build your model? Uh, I mean, I learned ICT. Like, I started trading ICT ever since I started trading. So, actually, that's a lie. I started ICT back in like July. Sorry, like, yeah, I would say like July, around there, July 2022. I did Elliott Wave for like 1 month prior to that. So it's like, I guess I really started trading in June 2022. I did Elliott Wave for 1 month, and that really solidified my understanding of market structure. And then once I moved into ICT, I hopped right into the 2022 mentorship and went through all of that. And then after that mentorship, I went through all this other content. And then I just started like figuring out like what ICT is even about, right? And I realized over time, like maybe a year into my studies, I realized that everything IC teaches is just a fractalized, or not a fractalized, sorry. Everything ICT teaches is just a portion of a market maker model, right? Um, Yeah. So everything's a market maker model. SMT is a start and end of a market maker model. Rejection blocks, order blocks, fair value gaps, breaker blocks, mitigation blocks, all of that is part of a market maker model. Um, you know, and just understanding that's why the narrative of price is so important, because it's all market maker models. You have all these individual tools within a market maker model, but it ultimately ends up creating that market maker model in the higher time frame. What else? Is that it? I think that's all. Oh yeah, fast forward. So that was 1 year into my journal. I realized that everything's a market maker model. So I started learning from the market maker, their MXM trader, right? I started learning from his course, and that really solidified my understanding on the market maker models. Like majority of it. I wouldn't say all of it, but it did start solidifying majority of my understanding. And from there, I felt like I had so many things I knew, but I didn't know how to apply it properly. And so that's when I joined Casper SMC's mentorship. And that's when I realized I was like, okay, it's like this guy's like simplifying it. This is how I apply it. And that's where I started to see exponential growth, because I was actually able to apply the concepts I learned. And so it was, yeah, I would say it definitely was eye-opening, because it's like I knew like 1,000 different things, but I didn't know how to apply them properly. And then Jesse really helped me with that, and he also helped me with my psychology quite a bit. And then after that, I through my journaling, I was really focused on SMTs, and sometimes I would see very interesting things that happen from previous day high, previous day low. I was like, how come whenever we're bullish, previous day lows are never met, right? And what does it stem from? An SMT with previous day low, and that's a market maker buy side of the curve. Vice versa, previous day high, how come it's never hitting previous day high? Isn't that supposed to be an easy draw on liquidity? And I realized that once again, SMT with previous day high would put us into sell side of the curve. And so that's where I started dabbling with time-based liquidity SMTs. And I found Day. And Day was teaching quarterly theory at the most stripped down base layer, right? And that's where I started finding like, oh, like time, like that's when I started understanding, oh, time actually like really matters in price. So that's when I started combining both of them, and now it's like I'm where I am now. I have 2091 as London low, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Yeah, I just use like midnight low because that's the extreme low of London. That's like London session open low. What days are my streaming? I typically I'll for sure be streaming Tuesdays, every Tuesday on YouTube, but um non-news days I'm planning to stream on YouTube whenever there's no news, and then whenever there is news, I usually just stream for the premium or the private community. How do you study Casper's course? I've been having problems retaining understanding some concepts. So how I studied it, or how I studied any course or any content, is I'll watch through it once. So watch through it. I don't take notes or anything. I just watch through it. So I know the big picture of what I'm learning. And then after that, I'll go back into the lectures, watch it a second time, and note take everything. And then if I'm feeling extra motivated or inspired, then I'll watch it a third time. But usually it's just 2 times. I take notes on the second time, and I should be pretty good. And I just move on to the next week. Nice, good stuff, Nick. Fire. If we end up closing like this, I might just close my trade. I don't like how we're creating SMT on the low with London low. Actually, you know what? I'll just let it run. If it stops me out, it's whatever. Just gotta follow my plan. Are you only trading AM session? Yeah, I usually only trade New York AM session. I don't trade any other session. Other than like, I mean, it wouldn't really be trading other sessions like swing trading. That's about it though. So I took a sell on the level 5 on NQ and hit stop loss. Can you please review the price action? What was missing there? So yesterday, the reason why I think price was chopping around was because we had an SMT on the highs. So we had a previous day high SMT on the highs, but we also had lower time for SMT that was confirmed between Asia and London. So I think that's what was conflicting there for me personally. And so that's why I expected chop yesterday. And I ended up taking like a negative 0.6 R trade. Right, but today I've made it back and more. Are all your entries on the 50-minute or also 5-minute? So right now my entry is actually technically on the 4-hour. Actually, I mean it is on the 15-minute, but technically my trade idea is supposed to be on the 4-hour. That's why my stop loss was so wide initially, right? Yeah, so Sergio, whenever you look at the textbook material, that's actually my notes, right? All of the textbook material is my notes in STB. And I just converted my notes to those formats for you guys. Do you find NQ versus ES SMT more reliable than NQ versus YM? Yeah, I do. I think that ES and NQ, SMT between those two are higher probability than YM. However, I think YM is still very reliable, from my experience at least. I take a trade whenever my model's present, right? So if my model is present before the volatility injection, that to me that makes me feel like the volatility injection should either run straight to my target at volatility injection, or it should invalidate me right away once the volatility injection occurs. So that's how I view it. As long if my model is there, I'll take it, right? And then I'll just look at volatility injection and see how it's developing. All right, let me take a look at chat if I missed anything. Right now on NQ, we took 4 hours sell side liquidity. Should we look for a sell from 15-minute fair value gap to continue sell? How to know that price will continue or reverse from here? What parameters we should look for? So I would look for SMT, right? So right now we have a London low SMT, so I wouldn't be too keen on looking for a sell until you get some sort of invalidation. But if you want to really enter a trade here, that means your stop loss is going to be all the way at previous week high, right? So now you're like, initially when I took this sell, I only had 60 points of stop loss, right? But if you want to take it now, right, TP1's already been met, right? So you're going to be enduring like 182 points of drawdown if price ends up hitting your stop loss. So you just want to be a little careful of that. You think today's high will be high of the week? I'm not 100% sure. Based on what price is doing right now, I think it could be likely. Because once again, we have that previous month high SMT, right? Previous month high SMT. And then we have the previous week high SMT now that's stacked on top of each other, right? So very potentially this could be high of the week, but we'll play it by ear and see if we get any sort of bullish invalidations, right? Use the same size before volatility injection. Yeah, exactly. I use same size always. I use the same risk, not same size. Sorry. Always the same risk. Your prop firm allows you to hold through news. If so, which prop firm is it? Right now I'm using I use both Top Step and Apex. I've never had an issue with that. So I assume it's okay. I think it's just mainly is like as long as you're trading the way you trade, I don't think they mind. Read the fine print if you need to, but I don't know. From my experience, I haven't had any issues with it yet. So I think they say like 2 minutes before news and 2 minutes after news. You can't. But like if you're already in a trade, I think it should be fine. Maybe unless it's like one of the big three. London low SMT. Can you mark? I don't see any SMT. So if you just mark out London low, right? Which would be this low, right? That would be the London low SMT down here. Hi Ethan. Oh, yo, what's up, Riku? Hi, for all-time high, you would use the close of the body to determine SMT. I used the close of the body always to determine SMT. I don't really use only wicks anymore. To me, I haven't had a lot of success with only wicks. Do you consider 5-minute SMT? You consider 5-minute stacked SMT at 9:30? Yeah, that's what we were looking at earlier. Could you check EUG on H1? Yeah, let's take a look on a 1-hour chart. Yeah, honestly, I don't even know because technically you have a bearish SMT on EUG, but it's pushing higher. So honestly, I don't trade forex, so yeah, technically it is there. It's just not being respected as of right now. You live stream every day. I'm subbed. Sometimes I don't see you on. I don't live stream on YouTube every day. But right now I'm planning if there's no news event, then I'll stream on YouTube. I'm live every Tuesday on YouTube for sure. And if there is high impact news, I'm usually in the private community. When I didn't consider that 5-minute between quarters, you enter sold off highs. I sold up here because we had a previous month high to previous week high SMT that was stacked on top of each other. And then I just used the London high as a confirmation to sell off. Right. So my stop loss initially was at the previous week high. It was a wider stop loss. If I took full TP, would you re-enter? No. I don't like to test my luck usually. Like if I already had an opportunity to make money, I don't want to expose myself to that risk again. Let myself mental reset, come back to the charts, and then, see if a new opportunity presents itself. Yeah, I'll check my performance for September so far after this trade finishes. What is the 1 minute doing? Probably take my second profit if this fair value gap gets inverted. I'm just gonna take my second profit because we're pretty close already. Because this fair value gap is, it has a breaker within it as well right here. So I would want to see it continue to run lower from here. If not, then I'll just take my second partial here and then let the rest run. Not get greedy with it. Yeah, so if you're looking, I would say the minimum time frame you should be referring to, at least when you're starting off using SMTs, minimum time frame you're looking for a higher time frame SMT should be your 15-minute. So that's London high or London low during AM session. Minimum. And then you can obviously dissect the charts on the lower time frame after that. But your higher time frame SMT should stem from a 15-minute minimum. Because if you go lower than that, it gives you a lot less time to make decisions and think about what price is doing. On top of that, it's also scalp targets, right? So you can't actually hold your trade for that long unless you have higher time frame confluence. Back same and close most position at NWOG. Nice, good stuff. When to use order block and when to use fair value gap. It really just depends, like what is price trading into right now. There's no solid answer in my opinion. What is the most recent PD array that has been created? And I usually refer to the most, I put what, like the most recent ones are the most important ones to me. What was my entry? It was just a London high SMT with some lower time frame confluence, and then I entered because we have the previous month high to previous week high SMT already, so that's already my model on a swing scale, I guess. So then I entered at 9:31 around there. And then put my stop loss at previous week high. For previous day highs, lows, do you include pre-market? Yeah, I include that. Now that we're trading back out of this fair value gap, I would want to see acceleration lower. If not, I'm just going to take my second partial here because I don't want to get greedy with this and have it just like unnecessarily lose out on like 10 points or so. So this next candle open, I would want to see some speed, especially by 10:30, right? Yeah, I'm gonna get out here. So I just took my second partial here, a little before previous day high. Previous day low. I just decided to take it there because I didn't like how price was stalling. I'm pretty confident it is gonna go down there, but my final TP is probably gonna. I'm just gonna let it run, honestly. And if I get stopped out, it gets stopped out. But it's just one runner. It's really not that much. Probably aim for like. I mean, previous week low was pretty crazy. We'll see. I just let price develop and I'll decide my TP3 based on that. So just clear my doubts. You entered because of weekly and daily SMT. No, I was saying we have a previous month high and previous week high SMT, and so the London high SMT confirmed that for me. That's what I entered on it. So yeah, that's my trade for this morning. I'll let the rest run and just do whatever it wants. If I get stopped at break even, it is what it is. I'm already up, you know. I'm up 2R right now with these two partials. So, not bad. On that note, I probably will be heading out here because I gotta hit the gym. And I urge you all to get some exercise in as well, get some journaling in, meditation. Type 1 if you're satisfied with the stream, type 2 if you have additional questions, stuff before I head out here. I'll just answer them before I head out. And I'll give you guys until 10:35 to type your questions. The London High SMT was in between 5-minute cores. I don't think it was, no. It was not, no. What would invalidate the bearish SMT? So right now, the only way to actually invalidate the bearish SMT for me at least is, at least honestly, I want to say previous month low SMT, but that's pretty crazy in my opinion because like that would be all the way down here. Now, of course, nothing's impossible, but we'll play it by ear because I rarely do like analysis on this macro of a scale because I'm also new to this concept technically, right? It's only been like a year. But we'll play ear by day by day and play by ear on the lower time frames. So I would say what would invalidate this bearish SMT was previous week low SMT, I think. So I'd be bearish for now, and unless price just suddenly shoots higher for some reason. Yeah, pretty much Ereza. All right, on that note, take care everyone, and as always, have a great day.